Today's story is about the deadly brew, the cyanide coffee case. In the heart of Jakarta, January 6, 2016, two young women walked into the stylish Olivier Cafe. It was a reunion years in the making. Myrna Salahan, 27, beaming with excitement, had just returned from Australia. Her longtime friend, Jessica Kumala Wongso, met her there. What was meant to be a friendly get-together would instead become one of Indonesia's most talked-about murder cases. As Myrna arrived, a cool Vietnamese iced coffee was already waiting for her, thoughtfully ordered by Jessica. She took a few sips, then suddenly collapsed. Eyes rolling back, mouth foaming, her body convulsed violently in her chair. Within minutes, she was dead. The cafe erupted into panic. Jessica appeared stunned, clutching her phone. But the authorities found the whole event eerily suspicious, and the autopsy would soon point to cyanide poisoning. Jessica and Myrna had studied together in Sydney, but their friendship wasn't smooth sailing. According to witnesses, Myrna had once warned Jessica to stay away from a toxic ex-boyfriend. Jessica didn't take it well, and though they stayed in touch, a quiet resentment may have festered. Jessica's life had taken a downturn. Employment troubles, emotional instability, and a history of mental health issues allegedly followed her back to Indonesia. When she messaged Myrna and another friend to meet for coffee, she chose the place, the time, and crucially, arrived early enough to order and prepare the drinks. Investigators pored over CCTV footage. Jessica had arrived more than 40 minutes early, oddly shifting bags around the table. No clear cyanide vial was spotted, but prosecutors allege this was when she tampered with the drink. The coffee was never fully tested for cyanide before it was discarded, but a trace was found in Myrna's stomach during autopsy, enough to convict. What unfolded next was a media spectacle. Jessica's expressions, smirking in court and at times weeping, were dissected on every screen. She never confessed. Her defense pointed to flimsy evidence and missing lab protocols, but the prosecution painted a clear picture: murder, premeditated and personal. In October 2016, Jessica was found guilty and sentenced to 20 years in prison. The courtroom erupted, some in relief, others in disbelief. Her lawyers maintained she had been railroaded by media pressure and faulty forensics. Still, many were haunted by one detail. Myrna's final sip of coffee was offered by someone she had once called a friend. Things are happening, you never know it, until you are told. Today's story is about this guy called Richard Psycho Sam McCroskey. Richard Psycho Sam McCroskey is a 20-year-old aspiring horrorcore rapper from California who committed a quadruple homicide in Farmville, Virginia in September 2009. McCroskey traveled to Virginia to visit his online girlfriend, 16-year-old Emma Niederbrock, whom he met through his music. However, when he arrived, Emma's interest in him had waned, triggering McCroskey's anger and frustration. On September 15, 2009, Richard Psycho Sam McCroskey, fueled by rage and rejection, brutally killed Emma Niederbrock, her mother Deborah Kelly, and her friend Melanie Wells. The brutality of the crime scene was matched only by the calculated manner in which McCroskey attempted to cover his tracks. Later that night, he killed Mark Niederbrock, Emma's father, when he arrived home to find the carnage. Melanie Wells's mother reported her daughter missing, so the police conducted a wellness check at the Niederbrock residence. McCroskey answered the door, claiming the women were at the movies. However, when police returned, they discovered the bodies. McCroskey had fled the scene, stealing Mark Niederbrock's car. McCroskey's eventual arrest at Richmond International Airport was a culmination of diligent detective work. He was found sleeping in the baggage claim area, a stark contrast to the calculated violence he had unleashed just days before. The motive behind the murders was reportedly McCroskey's anger and frustration over his failing relationship with Emma, as well as her text messages sent while they were in Michigan. The prosecution argued that McCroskey's actions were premeditated, driven by a toxic mix of anger and possessiveness. The trial was a somber reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked rage and obsession. McCroskey's guilty plea spared the community the agony of a trial, but the impact of his actions would be felt for years to come. McCroskey pleaded guilty to the 4 murders and was sentenced to life in prison. McCroskey's interest in horrorcore rap music, which often features dark and violent themes, was a significant aspect of his life. He used the alias Psycho Sam online and had a MySpace profile featuring his music with graphic lyrics about death and violence. His fascination with this genre and his struggles with low self-esteem and social interactions likely contributed to his descent into violence. The story of Psycho Sam serves as a cautionary tale, a grim reminder of the darkness that can reside in the human heart and the devastating consequences of allowing that darkness to consume us. The tragedy would leave a lasting impact on the community, a reminder of the importance of empathy, understanding, and intervention in preventing such atrocities. Things are happening. You never know it until you are told.